Okay, right, so let's actually get on with doing this rather than just me talking about it. So the first step is we actually want to add our Dieline into our 3D Blender model. So again, you've got the ability to download this model if you want to play around with this in future, or if you even just want to play with it in Blender. You don't need any Infigo license to play around with the model in Blender. So what I want to do first of all is to actually import our 2D model into this Blender model. So to do this, I'm just going to go down to our UV image editor, and I'm going to open our relevant model. So there we go. I've got my 2D Dieline. Now this will form the basis of our texturing of the 3D model. So our aim in later steps is going to be, as we've mentioned, to dictate which particular areas of that 2D model are associated with faces or elements on the 3D model. The next step here is to actually define the material. Now the material, as I kind of alluded to earlier on, is something that's actually going to skin that 3D model that we're making. So you'll see, if I come over to the right-hand side and click on materials, which is this one here, I can add a new material, and you see that instantly that's changed the color of the 3D model because it assigns the basic core material that we've made to that particular 3D model. The next thing we have to do is to actually tell the system that we want to use this 2D model as the skin for this 3D model. To do this, I'm just going to go to our node editor. Now, again, I'm just keeping this super simple, so it's not kind of like a button clicking guide. It's just sort of a general process overview. And what we're doing is we are adding a new section into here, which is, let's find it. So it's image texture. We can link this to our section here, which is part of the material. So I can link those colors together. And then as part of this image texture, I can choose one of those images that I've already uploaded. In this case, it was my Dieline. So I click on there, and you can see that in my case, it's automatically done that. It's automatically taken that Dieline and started trying to wrap it around our 3D model. However, at the moment, it's complete nonsense, which is fine at this stage. Okay, so I'm just checking my notes. Right, so if you do end up trying this yourself, it might not always be that that happens straight away. You actually need to perform, I think it's called a UV mapping, to actually take those elements from the 3D model onto our actual 2D template. So I'm just going to go back to our UV image editor. And then on the 3D model, I can click on Tab to get to editor mode, A to select the whole thing. And you can see in my case that it's actually done this already. However, if we haven't done it, there's loads of tutorials for Blender on the internet, by the way, if you need to do this later on. But I can hit the U key. That does my UV mapping. And then in this case, I've gone for Smart UV mapping. And what that does is it just takes all of the elements and just throws them as different islands, so different sort of element groups, onto our 2D model. But at the moment, it's just one big mess.